Okay, welcome to lesson 8, and this is a problem set. We are gonna this lesson has 4 pages, but they're not. There's only 4 problems. Okay, so the first one here you see lesson 8. We have the directions say create a table of 3 values. Okay, so you're doing 3 x and y coordinates, so 3 dots on the graph. And it says they want so that each y coordinate is 3 more than the x. Okay. So let's put in our x coordinates. Okay, and we're going to make this really easy. We're going to just put in the numbers 1, 2, and 3. How's that? Pretty easy. Now it says that the y coordinate is 3 more than the corresponding x. That just means that your y is going to be, you're adding 3 to whatever x is. So the first one we have x plus 3. So here we're going to do 1 plus 3, and that's going to be y. So y would be 4. Okay. The next one, we're going to do 2 plus 3, and that's going to be 5. And 3 plus 3 is 6. So that's what they mean. And if we do x comma y, you're just going to rewrite it as 1 comma 4 and put parentheses. That's how you write a coordinate. Okay. We're going to plot these on the plane. So let's go ahead and plot them. So the first one is 1, 4. So I'm going to look for 1 on the x. So there's the x. X is the bottom line. So let's find 1. 1 is right there. And we're going to follow that up until we get to the number 4. So here's our first point, 1, 4. Okay, 1 for the x at the bottom, and then 4 is over here at the y. The next one is going to be 2, 5. So let's go over to the number 2 and go up 2, 5. Okay, and the next one is going to be 3 and 6. So 3 and 6. There you go. And that's it. You can kind of see a pattern there. Now it wants us to draw a straight line through all these points. So let's draw a straight line through all these points. And if we did it, we'll go all the way through. Okay, there you go. And I'm just going to go off the graph. Okay. All right. Give the coordinates of 2 other points that fall on this line with coordinates greater than 12. Okay. So they want us to have big numbers bigger than 12. So let's use the same format we did earlier. So let's pick the number 13. So I want to put 13 in for x. And let's pick over here. Let's do 15. Why not? And for every x coordinate, the y would be 3 more. So we're going to just have to add 3. So it's going to be 13 plus 3, and that's going to give us y. Okay, so that's 16. And then you're going to do 15 plus 3 for the next one. And that's going to give us the y, which is 18. So if the line could continue, like if we just kept drawing the line, these points would probably be like somewhere way up here. I mean, they're off the charts. So you have to kind of, what they would say, they call it extrapolate. Okay, big word. All right, let's clear this screen with Alt-Z. Okay, all right, there we go. And we're going to move on to number 2 pretty quick. All right, number 2 says, we're going to do, I think, the same thing. We're going to create 3 values for x and y, such that each y coordinate is 3 times as much as its corresponding. So this one's tricky, so 3 times as big. So we're going to do the same thing we did earlier. Let's just pick 1, 2, and 3. Why not? Okay. But this time the y is 3 times. So we're going to be taking the x and multiplying it times 3. So 1 times 3. So the first one's going to be 3. And the next one is going to be 2 times 3, which is 6, right? And the last one is going to be 3 times 3, which is 9. Okay, so there you go. 1, 3, 2, 6, 3, 9. Let's go ahead and write it as you would, just rewriting it the same way, 1 comma 3 with parentheses. And you're just going to write in that format all the way down. Okay, so it wants us to plot these points. So let's go ahead and plot. Remember, there's x is there and y is this line right there. And so x is 1. So let's find 1 there again, and 3. So there's 1 and 3. So 3 there. Sorry. I want to erase that. It's off a little bit. There you go. The next one is 2 and 6. So there's 2, and we're going all the way up to 6 there. And the last one is 3 and 9. So 3 and 9. Okay. All right, and we're going to go straight through all the way up. It's kind of crooked a little bit, but it's okay. So that you can see is a much steeper slope or line going up. So give the coordinates of 2 other points that fall on this line with coordinates greater than 25. Whoa, bigger than 25, okay? All right. So I'm going to pick some numbers here that are pretty big. Let's go ahead and pick 30. And I'm going to pick another number that's pretty big, 40. Now, you know why I'm picking these numbers? Because they have zeros in them. It's easier to multiply. Now, you're going to multiply these by, what number did we multiply earlier? You're right. We multiplied by 3. So multiply by 3 and multiply by 3. And we're going to get our x and y. It's going to be 0 and 9. And 3 times 0 and 3 times 4 is 12. So these are huge numbers. So it's going to be 30 and 90. So the 30 and 90. And this one is 40 and 120. Yep, and they are on that line way up in the sky, but not on this page. All right, okay, moving on. We're going to Control Z, pause if you need, and moving on. Okay, number 3 we have here. And we have the same format as the one before, so create a table of 5 values for x and y such that each y coordinate is 1 more than 3 times as much as the corresponding x. Ooh, that's tricky. Okay. Now remember we did this in the beginning of the year, so 5 times. So let's go ahead and put in our coordinates first. We're going to just use 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's good. Okay. And they want us to do this 1 more, so it's 1 more than 3 times the x. So let's see this. That would be 1. So I'm going to write it over here. Okay, 1 times 3, but it's 1 more. So it would be first you're doing this, and then you're adding 1. So it's 1 more than 3 times. And we did this in the beginning of the school year. So if you can recall doing that, that's helpful. So 3 times 1 is 3, plus 1 is, is 4. So the first one is going to be 4. 1 and 4, okay? All right, so 1 and 4. Let's do that. And the next one, 2. 2 times 3 plus 1. So 2 times 3 is 6. Plus 1 is 7. So that would be the second one, 7. And the next one is 2 times 3. Oh, sorry, 3 times 3, which is 9, plus 1 is 10. I'm just going to do it in my head. And then the next one, 3 times 4 is 12, plus 1 is 13. And the last one is 5 times 3 is 15, plus 1 is 16. Okay, so that's it. And you know how to write your format. In the other line underneath is 2, 7, 3, 10, 4, 13, and 5, 16. And that should complete this table. It wants us to plot. So let's go ahead and plot. Remember, our x-axis is right there, and the y is going up and down. So first one, x is 1. So there's our 1 right down here. And we follow it up until we get to the magic number 4. The next one is 2. 2 is the next number. And these blocks are going up by 1. So you know 1, 2, 3, 4. You're counting. So 2 and 7. So there you go. 2 and 7. Oh, perfect. We have a 3 and a 10. So 3 and let's go up to 10. There's 10. Wow, that's pretty good. And we have a 4 and 13, so 4 is right there, it's labeled, and 13. And last but not least, we have 5 and 16. 5 is right there at the bottom, and 16 going up. And there we are. Okay. So you can see this is really, this line is very steep. So I'm going to try to actually, let me try to draw the line on here. So let's see if I can do this. I'm like doing it in the air, free-handed. So let's see. All right. That's hard to draw these lines up. Okay. So I'll just make this a really thick line. Okay. Wow. That is much thicker than I wanted to do. All right, give the coordinates two other points that would fall on the x coordinates are greater than 12. Okay, so it's got to be larger than 12. Let's pick the numbers 13. Actually, I'm going to do 14, or no, 15. 15. And let's pick the number 20. Okay, so we have to do 3 times 15. I happen to know that's 45, and then we're going to add 1, that's 46. So 15 and 46. And 20 is pretty easy. That's going to be that one. And then the other one, 20. 20 times 3 is 60. So I'm doing, they're doing 20 times, just like we did above, 20 times 3, which is 60, plus 1. I'm going to add 1 to it, right? Plus 1 and 61. So let's do that. 61. Same format as we used earlier. And that point will be on the big giant line up there. Okay. All right. Okay. If you have any questions, please ask in the comments. Thank you. All right. Alt Z, we're going to erase it. Okay. And let's move down to the last one. And here is the last one. Let's check it out. Okay. All right. And it says here, use the coordinates planes below to fill in the following tasks. All right. Graph the lines on the plane. Line L, x is equal to y. Okay. So line L, I'm going to do, if x equals to y, let's do for line L, we're going to do, I'm just going to make, can I make this bigger? Sorry, I'm going to make this bigger so we can actually see what we're doing. Okay. All right. So I am, first, let's erase that. Okay. We're going to do 1, 2, actually, I'm not going to do 1, 2, 3 this time. I'm going to actually use, because I know 1 to 1, I'm going to do 5, 10, and 10 and 15. There you go. 5, 10, and 15. And x is equal to y, so y is going to be the same number if they're equal, okay? Okay, and you're going to rewrite them in the comma 5, comma 5 with parentheses. So we're going to graph those, okay? And this is going to be the line. So 5, 5, 10, and 10, and 15, and 15. And it wants us to draw a line. Now, this is a line that is perfect. One has a what we would call a slope of 1. So it goes straight up, and x is always equal to y. So that is line L. So then I'm going to label that line L. There you go. Okay, next one is line M. Line M is y is 1 more than x. So if we did 1 more than x, let's do 5. Then the x is 6. And if you did 10, it would be 11. And if you did 15, it would be 16. So let's see how this works. One of those points is actually not on the line, so I got to get rid of it. So let's see. Let's just change these. I'm going to make it 4 and, okay, hold on. 4 and 5. 4 and 5. And let's do 10 and 11. And let's do 12 and 13. How's that sound? So it's 1 more than the other. So let's see. X is 1 more than y. So 4, we're going to do 4 at the bottom. That's right there. And go up to 5. Right there. See that? And then we're going to do 10, and it's going to be 11. And we're going to do 12 and up to 13. Okay, and as you can see, this line is really close to the other line, except that it is right next to the other line. They go right next to each other, perfectly distanced apart. I would have to say that line is parallel to line M is parallel to line L. All right, the last one. Y is 1 more than twice x. Okay, 1 more than twice x. So let's just use the number 3. I'm going to use the number 5, and let's use the number 10. You can use any numbers you want. Don't use so you're going to have to do twice, 1 more than twice x. So 1 more than 2 times x. So this is the formula you're going to use, 2 times x, which is 3 for the first one, and it's 1 more. 1 more. So you're going to multiply 2 times 3, you'll get 6, and then 1 more is 7. So the first one is 7. If you do it to the 5, that's going to be 2 times 5, which we know is 10, plus 1 is 11. So much easier writing 11. And then the last one is 10 times 2 plus 1, which is 21. 21. And by the way, that's a 10, not a 16. I'm sorry. So let's go ahead and graph these. This is going to be 3 and 7. So 3 right here. Let's go all the way up to 7, 5, 6, 7. There you go. And then we got 5, and 5 goes all the way up to 11. Okay, so 11. And then we got 10 and 21. Now, 21 is way off the graph by 5. So that's what you don't want to do. So that was too big. So let me pick another number that's not as big, because 21 isn't even on the graph. You can see the biggest y that we have is 15. Okay. So I'm going to change that number to, let's say, 7. Now 7 is a good number because 7 times 2 is 14 plus 1 is 15. And that is the highest number on the y. So let's go to 7. So here is 7. And go up to 15, which is the top. And there we go. That's better. So we're going to draw a line that goes straight through those lines. And you can see that has a steeper slope than the rest of them. And that's going to be line N. N for Nelson. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to scroll down a little bit I'm going to bring it back. Don't worry. Which two lines intersect? Well, the two lines intersect would be N and M, because eventually they will intersect down low. So for letter B, so for letter B, definitely N and M will intersect, and they will intersect off of the grid somewhere down here. So if the grid kept going, so let me just continue it down, and it kept going, they would cross over right here where I'm drawing that little dot. So when they intersect, they come together. Okay, that's letter B. Letter C says, which two lines are parallel? Well, we said that before, that M and L, you can see that M and L right here. These two lines right, this one and this one, are parallel. They go right next to each other without intercepting section. Okay. And it says, give the rule for another line that would be parallel to the lines you listed in problem 4C. Okay. All right. So as long as you're adding to the x, you can have a parallel line. So you can add. If you multiply, you will not get a parallel line if you're multiplying the x. So anytime you add you can even subtract from y to get a parallel line as well. If you add, so I'm going to write this rule down. If you're adding, if you add or subtract from x, the lines will be parallel. And that's the last part, I think. And that's parallel. There's only one R, sorry. Okay, and I think that's it for this problem. I'm going to go ahead and erase it. 1 second. Okay, and we'll double check. I think that was the last one. And that's it. And we're up to homework. So I'll see you next time when we do the next recording.